Colby, finally the fight week you've been waiting such a long time for, man. I know you wanted this fight much sooner than it happened, but as we talked about earlier this year, you're waiting for New York, Madison Square Garden. Does this feel like the right time for all this to finally happen?
Yeah, I think it's the perfect time. This first fight was supposed to be in Madison Square Garden, so better late than never. Now we get to do the rematch here. It makes it that much bigger and that much more special. So I'm just so excited for Saturday night and got so many surprises in store.
Yeah, can you give us any hints of what those might look like?
Oh, come on, man. I'm the king of spoilers, but I can't be giving no spoilers out, You watch the beginning of a movie, you don't get to see the end. You got to pay attention. You got to watch the movie to see the ending.
Unless we follow you on Twitter, then we might find out first.
You might follow me on Twitter, but I can't promise or make any guarantees.
What's the feeling towards Kamaru coming into this week? I know there's been a lot of heat going into the first fight, but there's been a little less media and stuff like that going into this one. So can you just kind of vocalize what you feel about him right now?
Yeah, I go to bed every single night with revenge on my mind, and I realize that revenge is a dish best served cold, and I'm going to serve that revenge dish to Marty on Saturday night, and I got some really bad intentions for him. He's not going to want to come back for round 3 after I'm done with him Saturday night.
What do you think is the biggest difference within you since the first fight? I know you probably maybe there's not even that many holes to poke in from your perspective from the first fight because you feel like you were wrong by the tactics and the referee and stuff. But what do you feel you need to change for this rematch?
First thing that I changed, the biggest thing is the people around me, the team that I have around me now. Daniel Valverde, my jiu-jitsu coach, my striking coach, Cesar Carnero, and my strength and conditioning coach, Jonathan Lopez, and my other coach, Charlie Weiss. I just have a newfound energy around me, people that actually genuinely care about me and they want to see me win. They're not just showing up to get paychecks and just work to throw me out there into the fire. They actually have been developing my skills, and we've been growing as a fighter every single day. And you're going to see new wrinkles in my game. We've updated the software. I'm going to control alt delete Marty on Saturday night.
And with that in mind, and you kind of look back at the first fight, do you see things that maybe whether it was through tactics in your training camp or advice you got in the fight itself that weren't the right things that now you can see with these people has changed dramatically?
Absolutely. If you go back and look at the first fight and the instructions that I were getting, they were telling me something that I do every single day. They were saying, Colby, breathe. Dude, we breathe every single day. Why are you telling me to breathe? I mean, everybody in this room knows how to breathe. Not everybody knows how to fight and knows how to instruct fighters and the right instructions to fight. So I made a lot of mistakes in that first fight, and that was my worst night, and I was still able to do that, and that was his best night. So Saturday night, you're going to see the upgraded software.
And it's been a long layoff for you. Are you someone who has any belief in cage rest, or do you think once you get in there, it's just going to be right back into your groove?
I work hard every single day in silence, and I let success make the noise. And, people that believe in ring rust are the people that are mentally weak. If you believe that there's ring rust, then it's probably going to happen. I don't believe in that. I've been making so many strides with my new gym, with my new coaches, Daniel, Cesar, Jonathan, Charlie. We've developed a new game plan, a new strategy, and we're going to show you guys Saturday night. I can't tell you. I am the king of spoilers, but I can't give you any secrets.
And last one from me. You mentioned you're going to control alt delete him. He's not going to want a part 3. So what does the Colby Covington title reign look like if you got this done? Is it Leon Edwards? Is it the new guy on the block, Khamzat Chimaev? What are you looking forward to in terms of your title reign?
Khamzat Chimaev, he's got to do a lot more work than get 3 fights in the UFC. You guys hype these guys up real quick, but let's not forget that he was put down by the common cold. He was ready to retire off the common cold. That's a 99.9% survival rate to beat the common cold, and Khamzat Chimaev was ready to give it up and retire. So, he doesn't want to fight me. He's got a way less chance than 99.9% chance against me.
So who do you think it will be?
As the people's champion, I do what the people want and what the UFC wants. Whoever the biggest fight is, that's the fight I want, But, I'll leave that hands in the people and the UFC who they want me to fight next.
Colby, I'm not sure that's the proper pronunciation of Chimaev's first name. I'll just throw that out there. But I want to ask you, what did your new coaches say? I'm sure you guys sat down and watched the first fight, right? And they weren't involved. What were their immediate observations that they saw that they knew they could make a difference with you?
What's the proper way to say his name then? It's not Cumshot?
I don't think so.
Some
of those are a little tricky, I know, but I think it's Hamzat, I believe.
Oh, tomato.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Whatever.
So what were the observations when you guys probably sat down and watched the fight, right? What did they see in that?
We just saw a lot of mistakes that I made. We saw, how I was fighting emotional. I threw my game plan out the window. I just wanted to put a good show for the fans, and I didn't stick to what got me to the dance, and that's pace, pressure, wrestling, and just an all-rounded mixed martial arts game. So we've dissected every second of it, every millisecond of it, and we see a lot of the tendencies and patterns that he has in his game, and we just know we're going to expose him Saturday night. So God bless, Cesar Carnero and Daniel Valverde, Charlie Weiss, and Jonathan Lopez. We had a great game plan, and we're ready to go.
Colby, right here. You've changed camps, but Kamaru's also changed camps. In his last 2 fights, he's actually put his opponents away after you've called him Marty Snoozman for so long. So have you seen any changes in his game at all, and are you expecting a completely different fight from him as well?
Marty Fake Usman, he's been fighting lightweights. He hasn't fought a welterweight like me. He's been fighting a guy that was a journeyman that had all the hype that the media put lightning on a bottle on this guy. I'm talking about Street Judas Masvidal. The guy's got double-digit losses, almost 20 losses on his record. You talk about hype. That makes you the best pound-for-pound fighter by knocking out a guy like that. Dude, I was knocking that guy out for the last 15 years. I beat him up, knock him out in my living room for free every single night when we lived together. There's no impressive or honor in doing that. And the other guy he beat, Dilbert, that guy is a lightweight. Like, the guy was getting knocked out by a hooker. Like, what's so honorable about that? What makes him pound for pound? I'm going to expose him Saturday night, and Marty Usman is not going to have nowhere to run or hide.
Colby, one of the big stories coming into this fight, I think, is that Kamaru's striking is the aspect of his game that's particularly evolved. Do you agree with that assessment, or do you think he remains the same as when you fought him?
He remains exactly the same. He's able to take these guys down, get them tired, they drop their hands, and he lands a big shot. Nothing impressive. He can't take me down. Saturday night, I'll show that, there's just different levels to this game. I'm going to make him fight and put him in situations that no one else could put him in before. And it's going to be a completely different matchup.
I saw an interview he did yesterday where he had expressed an interest in boxing Canelo Alvarez. Do you think that might be a sign that he's overlooking you?
Just more fake news and easier landing for him. He just wants a way out for after I beat him up on Saturday night for him to say, oh, he wasn't focused. Oh, I was, it just gives him an exit plan, like, oh, I was focused on Canelo. Oh, I was focused on going up a weight. I wasn't focused on Colby. Let me, be begging the UFC for a rematch.
Dana has made his thoughts about your first fight with Kamaru well known, that he loved that fight, thought it was one of the best of all time. Do you think there's a chance then, if you beat Kamaru on Saturday, that they'll want you to do a trilogy fight right away?
I hope so. I'd love to beat him up back-to-back times, but I just know I'm going to give him life-altering damage Saturday night, and he's not going to come back for a trilogy. He's going to probably retire.
Colby, to your left over here. I know you're saying no spoilers, but would it be kind of nice to be the first guy to ever take down Usman? Are you looking to wrestle maybe a little bit?
I can't dive too much into my game plan or what I want to do, but yeah, that'd be a nice little feather in a cap, take that stat from him. I know I can do it. I'm the guy to do it. He's Division II scrub. I was a Division I All-Star. And so there's levels to the wrestling game. And there's a reason he didn't try and shoot on me in the first fight. So you'll definitely see a more well-rounded mixed martial arts skill set this fight from me.
And not to overlook him or anything, but do you have aspirations of maybe being a double champ, whether it's to drop to lightweight or middleweight after you get the welterweight title?
Absolutely. I see both weight classes is very open for me. The guy at middleweight can't wrestle. He got taken down by a guy that's never wrestled in his life. And in the lower weight class, that guy's a scrub too. So I'd love to get my hands on Louisiana Swamp Trash, Dustin Poirier. He talked all that shit to the media, said it's on site with me. So guess what, Dustin? You name the site. Let's do it. Bring that little Jezebel of a wife and that little prop you call as a kid.
And last thing for me, on this event, we also have Rose and Whaley too. And in the lead up to that first fight, there was kind of some controversy with comments Rose made. Don't know if you saw those, but if you did, do you think that they were crossing the line as somebody, rather outspoken yourself?
I can't say that I saw it. I don't really pay attention to anything other than what's on my plate ahead of me. I got to focus on the business that I got Saturday night, and that's getting revenge. I wake up every single morning with that revenge and vengeance on my mind, and just have nothing else in my head but getting that revenge.
Hey, Chaos, right here. You're having quite the day on the microphone, if I may say so. but I have a question for Colby. Do you ever miss those days where you didn't have to always publicly turn it up to an 11?
No, I don't miss those days. Those days I was broke, and I wasn't making the paychecks that I'm making now. So, I love what I do. I'm thankful to be in the UFC, and, God bless Dana White and Hunter Campbell for giving me these opportunities.
People have one certain way of feeling about you. Either they're into it, they're down for it, or there's some hate with it. With all of the attention that it's brought, has it been worth it? Like, did it bring you the personality? Did it bring you all the opportunities that you were wanting back in those days?
The biggest thing is the UFC stands for the Ultimate Fighting Championships. This is not the Ultimate Feelings Championship. So, I'm here to take checks, break necks, and send people out on stretchers like I did my last fight. So, if people are mad at me because I love America, I love my president, that's their problem. I could give a fuck less what their opinion is, The biggest thing that, any of you in this room can have a different opinion than me. I agree to disagree. I'm not going to berate you for your opinion like you guys try to do to me. I'm going to respect you because I'm respectful. And in America, we have freedoms. Land of the free, home of the brave. We have constitutional rights. You got freedom of speech, and I'm not going to be mad at you for whatever you believe in.
My final one. You have, I believe, a nickname for just about every contender in the welterweight division. Is there a particular favorite one that you came up with that you're like, ooh, that was a good one that I came up with?
Yeah, I think Marty Usman, the CEO of EPO, it fits him pretty good. He's a 35-year-old middle-aged man, and he looks like he has a chemical imbalance. The guy's got acne all over his face, all over his shoulders and back. Why is that? Are you going through puberty at 35? I thought men did that at like 16 or 17.
Thank you.
Weird.
Colby, you have these NYPD and FDNY hats in front of you. Obviously, you put them there. What do they mean to you? Why did you decide to do that?
It means everything to me. That's who I'm fighting for this Saturday night. Law enforcement and all first responders around the world, not just NYPD and not just FDNY. But them in particular, because what they did for and what they stand for in 9/11 and here in New York City. I just appreciate their service and sacrifice. Every day they leave their homes, to protect and serve, our people in our communities, not knowing if they're going to go back to their wives and their kids. So, I just want to show my support for them and dedicate this fight to them.
Now, obviously, you're saying that you appreciate their risking their lives and everything like that, but they're also dying of COVID. The virus that you're calling is the common cold. We've lost 21-year veterans. We've lost all these type of people. Do you have respect for people that have obviously lost their lives to COVID as well on the front lines?
Absolutely. Anybody that loses their life, it's a terrible tragedy, but you got to take better care of yourself. There's probably underlying conditions why maybe some of those things happen, but God bless them, rest their souls, and let's move on and get over this pandemic. And we all know that healthy people, this common cold doesn't affect healthy people. So as long as you're healthy out there, then you're going to be all right.
Have you reached out to FDNY or NYPD since you've been here? Do you have a relationship existing with anybody from there?
Yeah, I have a relationship. I know, one of my cornermen, Charlie Weiss, has been able to get in contact with them, and we wanted to go, visit their bases and go to their compounds and say what's up. But just the risk of getting COVID this week, we didn't want to take any risks before the fight and contracting anything. We wanted to make sure we stayed healthy and socially distanced and kept our space from everybody so we could get to the Octagon Saturday night and put on a show live on pay-per-view.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Hey, Colby, Usman has 18 fights in a row that he's won in his career, and basically he's saying he's the father of the division, and everyone else are his sons. What do you have to say about that?
He ain't the father of this division. He's my son, and there's a reason he had to take fake breaks the first time we fought. And I kicked him in the liver. He was ready to quit, and I was his daddy. And then all of a sudden, the ref stops and, let's give this guy a timeout. Let's give him a break in the middle of a fist fight. We're not playing a kids game. We're not playing basketball. We're not playing football. These are little kids games. Those are play games. We're playing fighting. We're playing to kill, and there's no timeouts in fighting. So he has no reason to be saying he's a father of anything. If anybody, I'm his daddy, and I'm going to show him Saturday night.
What do you have to say about, I heard you were denying that your jaw was broke in the last fight. A lot of people say that you did have a broken jaw.
Yeah, that's fake news, and it's standard for Marty Fake Newsman spitting fake news out of his mouth. Any of you journalists out there could go out on the internet and deep dive and find this fake X-ray that they tried to put on the internet. Look at the way it read my name. It said Colby Covington, face across. Everybody knows on the X-ray scan that it would show your name upside down. So all the fake journalists in the crowd right now that put that fake X-ray out there just shows why you're fake news and you're in the littlest sports league.
It seems like you're about a plus 245 underdog for this rematch. Considering how close the first fight was, does that surprise you or upset you at all?
You know, it doesn't surprise me because all the marks, all the people that truly believe in this guy's hype, you know, it's amazing. And it just really shows me that all my supporters and people that believe in me, I'm going to make them rich and I'm going to make them happy. But all the people that are hyped and believing in the hype and this guy being unbeatable, you know, they're going to be sad on Saturday night. They're going to go broke and their bank account's not going to be great again.
And last one for me, two of your favorite welterweights, Jorge Masvidal and Leon Edwards, will face off next month. What do you make of that matchup?
There's nobody on the UFC roster that Street Judas, that fragile guy Masvidal, he can beat right now. That guy's washed up. I mean, I saw the discipline and the way he trained for years. The guy's nothing. I mean, he has no skill set, and he completely got melted his last fight. I mean, has he woken up yet from his last fight? Who knows if he's probably still sleeping, so I don't know if he's ready to go fight yet. He's definitely concussed and fragile, so there's not a guy on the roster that Street Judas Masvidal can beat.
Colby, with one quick one with that in mind, do you find some common ground with Kamaru and the fact that he did that to Masvidal? Did that make you like him anymore?
No, not at all. I have no respect, no love for that guy. He's a cheating coward, so there's nothing he could do that could make me respect him.